G'day folks, it's Rob here, and in this week's video I'm going to be answering the question, is aquaponics right for me? Seeing as I've had a number of people ask me recently due to Owen's epic aquaponics system video that I posted here to YouTube. There'll be a link to that down in the description if you want to check it out. To begin with, for you folks who aren't 100% sure what aquaponics is, it's basically the combination of aquaculture and hydroponics together, where we utilize the waste produced by the fish to grow nutritious veggies in grow beds off to one side using hydroponic methods. So I'll stop nattering on and we'll hook into the video and answer the question, is aquaponics right for me? I think it's an absolute awesome way to grow not only fish for the table and be a little bit more self-sufficient and self-reliant, and also, you know, the side dish of veggies that comes from the filters doesn't go down too bad either. It does take a little bit of time to run, you know, just like the normal veggie patch or hydroponic system, and it does involve a fair amount of money in infrastructure to get you going, even if you manage to buy recycled IBCs and drums like we use here. Now I just wanted to touch briefly on the time thing again before we get into a bit of a breakdown, back of the envelope costing I've done for a basic system. Time wise, it really takes no longer, once it's set up and running, to tend every week than a normal veggie patch. We don't have to worry about weeding, we don't have to worry about going out and watering every day. All I pretty much will do here is feed the fish. I come down here a couple of times a day. If I was working away from home, it'd probably take me not even 5 minutes a day to toss some feed in, pick the veg, look for any pest damage or anything like that. That's pretty much all it. The same as a normal soil patch, except I don't have to worry about watering it all through the hot summer days we have here. On the weekend, I'd probably spend, I don't know, about 30, maybe 40 minutes looking at the fish as they're eating, cleaning out the filters and whatnot, and just going around the system and having a little bit more of a thorough go through the plants. Pretty much all the same as nearly everyone I know, myself included, when we have a soil garden that we grow our own food from. So time-wise, not much more demanding. Energy-wise, can be more demanding. Obviously, we have pumps running all the time. There's ways to offset that. We have a back-to-grid system on the house. People keep telling me to set up this as a solar. We partially already is with the solar panels on the roof. You can run them completely off-grid solar or wind turbine if you're in a windy enough area, but that does ramp up the cost yet again with batteries and inverters and that sort of thing, depending on what pumps you're using and how you've set the system up. So that power plus the initial setup can be rather expensive, but there's another way to look at it. I know people who've been growing in this method in the same system for over 5 years, some of them are closer to 10 years, and all they basically need to do is buy new seeds, new fingerlings every season, because ours don't grow or will reproduce well in the systems, and also the commercial feed, and they're pretty much all laughing. So no different to anyone else who's buying in horse manure at $4 or $5 a bag, or buying commercial compost to put in their gardens, or off-the-shelf fertilizers in suburbia like ourselves. It really isn't expensive in that respect, especially considering you're getting a fish that you've grown yourself on the barbecue and then on the table. Yes, expensive to begin with, but the benefits do pay off over the years. Unfortunately, I have had a few people say, oh, but I've been told it's really cheap to set one of these systems up. The breakdown that I've got here is for a 3-bed IBC system, something I'm actually going to be filming very soon and posting to the channel for you folks who want to gander. So if you want a notification when that happens, hit that subscribe button and jump on over to the bell so you do get notifications. So I've broken this system down into the basic main components. There's a few bits and pieces I've missed, but this will give you a rough idea. I haven't included prices for stands. Generally people use things like Besser bricks or cinder blocks, and most people can scrounge some of them around from either their own yard or neighbours and friends, I've found, if you're resourceful enough. So I haven't included them. Basic plumbing, which is your PVC pipe and any hoses that you're going to use, anywhere from around about $200 to $300, very rough figures here. The air pump to deliver air into the fish tank, you're looking at around about $100 for a 1,000 litre or 270 gallon tote. A water pump to move the water through the system, $250 to $300. A radial flow settler drum, if it's a recycled one like ours, you're looking around about anywhere from $10 to $25. A fish tank, And if we're using IBCs, also a sump tank and 3 grow beds, you're looking at roughly around about $375 there. Now the next bit is where it can get expensive or it can be really cheap. Clay. If you were to use clay like we did, I've actually knocked the clay price down a little bit. So for a 3-bed IBC system, you're looking at around about $630 worth of clay. Now I'm really lucky. I got a lot of secondhand clay and also bought when they were around about $25 a bag bulk. But I have seen clay at the moment anywhere up to $48 a bag. So that's pretty much all the most expensive part of the whole system. Now you can make it rather cheaper if you decide to opt for a different rock source. The cheapest one I could find is blue metal, which is a road base or sometimes sold as a decorative rock. It's made from basalt here in southeast Queensland, and I can get a cubic metre, which is enough to do the 3 beds, for $100. Plus some left over to throw around the ground to make it look decorative if you're into that sort of thing. So that is a substantial saving of around about $530. Now on to final costings. I did use a couple of ballpark figures there, but roughly speaking, you're looking at around about $1,600 to $1,800 if you were to use clay as the media. If you were to use the basalt, you're probably looking around about $1,000 to $1,200 just to get the basic system. And that's not including things like your seeds or seedlings, your fish feed, which is an ongoing cost, your testing equipment, and other bits and pieces as well. So for you folks who were told that it is a fairly cheap way to grow your food, I'm very sorry it isn't. It does take a fair bit of capital to get you started and up and running. If you do want to save a bit of coin setting up your system, there is another option, and that is to scour the Facebook groups, Gumtree, other social online groups for people who are wanting to sell up their aquaponics systems. I've just seen a couple come up recently. A lot of people moving around Australia to escape something for some reason at the moment. And I've seen a lot of aquaponics systems come up for sale in Victoria because they don't want to pack them up, move them all the way here to Queensland. Everyone's coming to Queensland, and then set them up again. So they're offering them very cheap just to get rid of them. So it might be an idea just to hop on those social media groups and see what's on offer. Do keep a lookout there. You never know what sort of bargain's going to pop up. There is another way to go if you're not 100% sure if aquaponics is right for you, or if you don't have the cash straight out the gate and you're determined to have a system. A small little basic system is what I would suggest. You can buy off-the-shelf kits if you're not too technically minded and don't have the tools, or you can make your own little DIY ones by buying the components off the shelf or recycled things like the IBCs and plumbing them up yourself. Now, a great way to start, I think, is an IBC tote. They're 1,000 litres, 270-ish gallons. I've got a video on it, I'll pop it up there, but the basics is you chop the top off it, you flip it over, you use the base as a fish tank, you pump the water up into the grow bed, and you grow your food up there. And in a little system like that, you can easily grow 10 to 12 fish that you want to grow out to 500 grams or about a pound with the amount of biofiltration that's in the grow bed itself. I'd also suggest that you look into things like a little canister filter or a little compact filter just to run on the side, just so the grow beds don't get too mucky with fish waste. If you're only going to grow 1 crop of fish a year though, and you're prepared to clean out the bed after you've harvested them, yeah, no filter is required, but that's a whole different video yet again. And if you do go the IBC route, it's something that you can add other components on, other IBCs or a traditional fish tank like I've got here, and other pre-formed grow beds if you can pick them up cheaply enough. And you can use that original fish tank as a sump tank, the grow bed on top is another grow bed, and then you just plug the other components in. And if you want a couple of ideas on that, I'll pop a video up there and down in the description looking at 3 different ways you can set up basic small backyard aquaponics systems. So another question I get asked a lot is what fish is best for aquaponics. It's a little bit too much to go into this video here, otherwise it'll get too long, but I do have another video you can suss out. There will be a link in the description that will walk you through a few different things you need to take into consideration when you're selecting fish for aquaponics. And right at the end of the video, I will also pop a link to a playlist of YouTube videos for all you folks who are interested in maybe learning a little bit more about aquaponics before you take the big leap. And there is also our Aquaponics Beginner's Guide. If you'd like to make a little bit of an investment and help the channel out, there will be a link to that down below. And one will also pop up the end as well. And hopefully this video has helped you folks who are curious as to how much time was involved in running a system and also the financial investment needed to start one out. but I will pretty much will leave it there. I do hope you're all well and happy and your gardens are booming, and I will catch you next video. Cheers all, and have a top one. A radial flow settler drum if it's a recyclable